Yo, audio update, audio menu. This is what I've created, little basic thingy. Right now there's a bug where when you are in a gamepad and you're in this slider and you go up, oh, maybe, no, never mind. It looked like the middle one was thicker, but it's just because of some random button. See, now these two look, or this one looks thicker than these two now. It's just some Unreal Visual bug stuff, just like a square pixel crosshair or a square crosshair in Valorant. It's never perfectly centered. So, shit ass game. Here we go. So, right now there's a bug where if you navigate from this to this, it will skip the middle one and only go here. I'm trying to figure that out, but the functionality works. There's a regular output volume. That's what I did, and I was like, well, what else do we need? Well, I guess we need. There's not gonna be like main music. I mean, there'll be some, but I mean, it'll be subtle. So maybe I add that too. Actually, yeah, easy enough. Sound I understand a lot better now. Spent like a couple hours on this now. But there's also voice output, which I did by creating a separate sound class, and it turns out that VoIP here has its own built-in sound class thing. I'm not sure if that's enabled specifically because of a plugin that I have, just the regular VoIP talker stuff, or if it's just built in, probably just built in. And then there's also voice input, and this is done by console commands, but the logic is the same for basically all of them. And I'll show you how it works. Oh, just go full screen. Why not? Let's do the maze map because that has background noise, so you can hear sounds all the time. Nope, full screen. Or we'll do gamepad. Right. So can't hear me right now, but we can check the audio. I need to mess with the steps because right now the steps are too crazy. Actually, it's better now, but here. And I have yet to find a way to make these changes happen instantly. You can hear how smooth it's going, and it's not because of that it's only going up by 5%. See, it's still, well, actually, it's getting louder just because the sound is actually getting louder. Not the setting, but the sound itself, the sound wave is getting louder. And it's getting quieter now just because of it's just because. So, but I don't have a way to make it be like instant loud. It progresses. I'm not sure why. I've turned the delay. There's like a delay smoothing. I've turned it to 0, so I'm not super sure. But then there's also voice output and input. So this would be how loud your mic is to other people. And if you set your input, that should change how much your mic is perceived by other people. And output would just be how loud other people are perceived. And if you're hearing yourself, that would include you. So I'm going to turn the mic setting on so that you can I can hear myself, and I'm going to get the same result for both of these. But the reason is because if I make my input louder, then I'm going to hear it louder. Other people are going to hear it louder without changing their output. But if I change my output, other people wouldn't hear me louder, but I hear me louder because I'm hearing my own voice. You wouldn't hear your own voice in the game, but that's how this would work. So if I just turn it on, okay, you can hear me right now, right? I'm starting to talk, yo. Sometimes this one bugs out because like sometimes in the middle of setting the values here, ooh, there's a bug. Interesting. Okay, we're good now. In the process of setting the input values, it'll mess up, so you have to set it, and then, boom. So actually, what I might do is I might make an apply, but maybe not. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's basically, while you're in the middle of setting the values, you have to stop for it to fully set, which is fine. So, I mean, this works. I mean, it has the features that we need. I don't know why that just did that. Oh, it's because right now I have the ability to go. I've been trying to fix this navigation issue, so I don't have it so that I can't go into these. Also, these work too, so I could do like max this one out, etc. Okay. So, what else? Oh, there's an interesting thing. The focus wasn't working. Sensitivity is wonky right now. Weird. But so here's the audio check the other way. All right. Yo. Test. 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 Yo. 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 Wait, hello? Okay. It's just microphone not capturing sometimes because my mic's bad. Sometimes. So, it works. We get the same result in both of these, but the input is just because it's raising my gain, which would make it louder on other people's. It should. And the output is just how loud we're actually hearing it without it being louder for other people. So the three primary settings. I can add a music. I only have one thing of music right now in the game, which is the ambient sound, so I'm not going to mess with it right now. But my main priority right now, because everything else in the gamepad UI stuff is, I mean, pretty clean, works, right? Alright, shit's good. So cute. Like, yeah, this one's better, probably. The frames right now, I don't know why the frames are so trash. I mean, they're not, they shouldn't be. Why is it? Yeah, I have no idea, but ignore that for now. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's not real. See, like I shouldn't be able to adjust that there, but it doesn't actually matter because I'll have that disabled. But yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, here's the bug. It skips between these two. We're here. We're here. We can go down, or we can go left, down, right to get here. But I don't know what's up with this navigation shit. A lot of it, it's like all automatic, pre-programmed shit. So, like, I don't go in here and say anything with the navigation to go up and down or whatever. I can disallow them. For example, I could make this slider and its borders and whatever. I can disallow going left, so you can only go up, down, right won't do anything, but whatever. I can disallow it so that you can't go to this editable text thing in controller, because you can't type on a controller, so you should be using the slider. If you're on mouse and keyboard, you should be able to type it, or you should be able to use the slider. Then, what else? I should make the values round so that you don't end up with like the 1.005 whatever the hell shit. What else? That's kind of it. So I'm not really sure. I'm not sure at all about the navigation. I'm gonna fuck with the size of all this stuff, because like if for example, if I just align this left now, I bet you when I go up, it's not going to even let me use those. I'm not gonna even be able to get to the sliders now. See? Can't. I'm just stuck on the back button. That's it. And it's an alignment thing automatically, because this is no genius or anything on my part. It's just some pre-programmed shit. The alignment of this determines which things you navigate to. So somehow, even though the size boxes and the borders of these three widgets are identical, somehow their positions on this, I think because there's extra padding here, it's treating this one as being on the right. There's extra padding, it's treating this one as being on the right. There's not enough, so it thinks this one's in the middle. So it's skipping, it's picturing it like there's one thing here, and then there's one here and one here. And if you go from up, it's gonna skip the middle one and go up to here. I think that's what's happening. So, yeah, fuck it. I'll do a quick test. Let's just do like 150 extra padding here, and then just find out. Now there's a bunch of padding on both. I'll just do that. I'll just do one change and see what happens. So I'll just kind of guesswork because I don't know how the hell the shit was programmed. Nope, I was wrong. So I'm probably gonna take that to the extreme and add even more padding, and then just see what happens. But yeah, I'm just gonna fuck around with that on my time until the audio menu works, and then I can add the music volume or the ambient volume. Probably same shit. There'll be ambience, but there won't be like main music. Maybe there'll be music in the menu, and sure, I guess you can change that. So there'll be like maybe an ambience, and then maybe that too, or maybe the ambience just needs to be part of it. It should, because the ambience is like just part of a dungeon. That's master volume. It shouldn't be this extra thing. You don't just turn it off so you can min-max and hear footsteps. Bro, if you're in a dungeon, you hear the fucking echoing. You ain't turning that shit off. You hear the little ambient pitter-patters and whatever. That's part of the dungeon. You can't change that IRL, so you can't change that in the game. But the voice, okay. This is just to make shit work on your end because people's voices are bugged out in different ways. But in real life, there's nobody's voice who's actually 10 times louder by default than somebody else's. So you have to actually configure that here to make it realistic. So It doesn't matter. But next thing I'm doing, trying to figure out this navigation shit to make it so that we're not skipping the middle guy. And then I add the music one. And then the audio menu will basically be done, and that'll be like most of UI. I mean, what else do I need? I mean, there's leaving the game. There's configuring graphics, which I need to debug the full screen thing because it's bugged out. It's black on the corners. I need to fix, or that's it, graphics. And then there's keybides, works really well. And then audio. So then I gotta fuck around and try and break everything and make it a little bit more robust. But that's it. Okay, that's it for audio thing. Oh, a little bit about the functionality. Hold. How does it actually work? So we'll go here. 3 things. One of them in audio is the master volume. The other is the VoIP output volume, and the other is the VoIP input volume. These look almost identical because they are as the interface in the game menu. One, the slider will call a function that will update the value in the character because the character does all the handling. It's updating him here. I don't want to update him from the menu. I want to update him in the character. So we call the character's updating function. And then we update our text here because if we've updated the slider but the text hasn't reflected, there'll be a mismatch. Same thing here. When we do the text, all we do is we pass the text in and we update the slider. And as part of that, that will update the text as well. So, and really, it updated the text, but we need to clamp the value so that it's not some wonky shit. We clamp it to an int and then we convert it to a float because these are floats. And then we pass that to the slider, which will update. And the slider is the only thing that actually goes to the character. So that works for both of these. I have animations where I have keyframed each one of the sliders. I have keyframed the color on frame 1 and then the bar color on frame 2. That way when you select it, it instantly turns red, and then when you get out of it, it plays the reverse, which gets you back out of it. So when you enter it, either with a controller or the mouse, it plays the animation forward, it goes red. When you leave, it goes backwards, goes black. Same thing, identical logic, just different animations because you have to keyframe different things. One animation for this slider, one animation for this slider, one animation for this slider, because the animation is the entire widget. So that's this functionality. That's basically all of that. How do we actually set the volume? Well, the slider has a value, and we cap the value from like 0 to 5-ish. Right now I have 0 to 5. And then we pass this to the player somehow. We call this function, and this function updates the text, but also goes to the player. What do? The player has a default audio volume, which is 1 for each of the things, and each one of them is just a local variable. It's just 1. That way, we are using the multiplier. So if I'm passing in 5, the volume is 5. If I'm passing in 0, it's 0. If I'm passing in 1.2, it is 1.2. That's it. We're just multiplying by 1. And I'm saving that. That way, whenever we start the game, the widget on construct, when it's initially created, whenever we first look at it, we get these 3 values, and I set the values in here to update. Granted, that will actually go to the character and update its values again, but it's fine. There's no way for me to set the values of the slider without it setting the value, which will go to the actual character. So it's fine. The values are already 1, 1, and 1. It will go to this widget and update the values to look like 1, 1, and 1, because if the values are 5, 5, and 5, but the widget by default has blanks here and they start like this, well, I don't want it to look like this if our volume is actually 5 in the character. So on begin play, basically, on construct, when this widget is created, we update it to actually match what the player is. So this is 5, this is 4.5, this is 3.2, whatever. Cool. So we update those, and then in the actual character, what we do is we use this master volume explicitly, and we just update the sound class, the sound mix, to set the volume, because the sound mix is what actually sets it. So it says, hey, in this mix, which class's volume are we updating? Because the class, is the thing that has the volume, not the mix. The mix has multiple classes in it, and I think you can change stuff. Oh, okay, so you can change stuff in it. This is what's happening. It's changing the volume from the mix. The mix is your main sound thing. I don't think you change this. I did this vice versa, or I did this the reverse earlier when I added VoIP volume, VoIP output. When I added the VoIP sound class, I created a separate sound mixer and tried to change it, and it wasn't doing anything. And then I realized, oh shit, wait, there are elements in the sound mixer. You can add multiple classes to the sound mixer and change the classes values for these. So if I hear anything that's of this class and I've updated it in the mixer, those sounds will be louder. and I can have that be one channel, and I can have another channel, and it can have its own modifier. So regular sound is like this, but VoIP sound is way up because other people's mics are quiet on my end because of who the hell knows. Everyone else has quiet mics. So, and I could add another one of these for music, and another one for ambience, and another one for whatever. Cool. The thing that's missing here, so I do that the same way for the master audio as I do for the VoIP output audio. I just do the same mix, but a different class. Easy peasy. However, for the input volume, the update function that we call from the game menu is the same. We get the value and we send it to the character, but we call a different function. Still here, looks the same. We multiply it by 1, so we use the raw value. Cool. But how do we actually set the volume? Well, when you go into the player and you get where my voice stuff is, and I create this VoIP talker, which is where the VoIP actually, it's an object that has some volume, or a point from which the character whose player controller it's bound to, his voice will come out of it with some attenuation and settings that we can set. So, but if we go in here and we type in volume or gain or decibels or loudness or anything, you don't find nothing. And you go on Google, people don't know nothing. However, I did see someone was talking about it was like C variable or something like this. I typed this in and he said voice C variable. You need to adjust these. I was like, what is he talking about? Let me just search voice and see what happens. And then I saw right here, mic input gain. Oh, I didn't see anything else in the classes or anything about volume for the player. Like there's nothing about volume. I mean, volume normally means a spatial thing, not loudness, not dynamics. Microphone, nope. Mic volume, nope. Voice volume, nope. Voice input volume? Oh, no, it's just a function. Why is this? Oh, because these are custom events. Gotcha. Boom. Or that's not even the one. Those are the calls? Something like that? I don't know. But, so I've already created the widget shit. So how do we actually update it? Oh, we do a console command. We just do voice, what is it called? Voice dot mic input gain? Yeah, this one. And all we do is we execute that console command. Well, so what do we do? What's the syntax? Well, it's voice dot mic input gain space and then whatever the number is. And it can be a float. I tried with 1 and then 1.9. And 1.9 is significantly louder. So you don't have to use an integer. 1.9 is louder than 1, and it's about twice as loud. Therefore, floats work. So we take the float, we convert it to text, so we get 2.0 or whatever. And then I have voice.mic input gain space, and then I add that. That is the same as me typing in voice.mic input gain 1.9. And that would work. So on begin play, when the game begins, we try and set the volume to be default 1. And actually, what this should now be is set voice input volume, because now that I have a variable for it, I can now use the VoIP input volume, which I can set, because if I set it, and we save these settings eventually, and I close the game and I open it later, I don't want to have to redo this. So every time the character spawns, I don't want the volume to go back to 1, which is what it just was. It would set it to 1. Now it's going to set it back to what it was. And so we create a string from the float, we append it to the command, and we run the command. Easy peasy, and that's it. So technically, yes, whenever I'm in the game menu, and I'm dragging this designer, when I'm dragging this slider around, it is going running the commands nonstop. But that's probably why it's actually delayed. It probably can't run them nonstop. So it's probably running one and then it's stopping and it's like initializing stuff on the sound deeper backend that I don't know. And then you've moved to another value and then it'll try again and whatever. That's why we sometimes get, I'm guessing that's why we sometimes get silence whenever I'm sliding this around while I'm still talking, we get silence. So not a big deal. One thing I could do to make it more appealing, well, one, actually, it doesn't matter because you're going to set these settings and then you're going to go play the game. And you're not going to be hearing yourself in the game anyway, so it doesn't actually matter. You just do this. Probably going to have to add some sort of visual thing to like get voice volume or something, get the loudness. so that you can display it and check how it's good, or you could just do it at the game and talk to other people. But probably good to have something in the game that tells you that your mic is working and is detected and whatnot. Yeah, that's a necessity. I'll probably do that after I add after I fix the navigation, and then I add the music class, and then I'll do that next, I think. But that's basically it. So one of these is set with commands. The other two are set with just updating the sound mix itself. And that's it. And the commands work because I update the packaged games that I have. I press R and it still turns on. I mean, it'd be just like any other game. You can always use you can do tilde and then type in your console shit, and it always works in any game. And plenty of those games have probably. Oh, actually, is Subnautica an Unreal Engine? I'm not sure. It feels like it maybe. Subnautica game engine. Oh, it's Unity. Oh, I'm surprised. It feels like an Unreal Engine game. It's a game I've played in Unreal Engine. I'm trying to think. Oh, Arc Raiders. What else? Is that it? Might be the only game. Also, I make sure that the VoIP reference, the VoIP talker, is actually valid. If it's not, then we return failure, and then we wait a little bit, and then we try it again. Just in case, this is begin play, and this activates here. Well, if the voice chat logic hasn't finished yet, it has its own loop too, so that we keep on trying to register it with the player state, which I guess is just a requirement of the VoIP talker logic. You create this object, and you have to register it with the player state. So it's bound to this one player, so that it's distinct from all the other ones, and that it actually gets that player's input, and it's initialized the input buffer and the speaking and all that shit on the back end. That shit eventually will succeed, which means this will eventually succeed. So, and I loop until then, because I don't want this to not be finished. This executes, and then this fails, and then we're done. No, we got to loop until we do it. But once it's true, then we go. And there shouldn't be any case where it is still false. I mean, I can have a check where it's like, oh, if it doesn't happen 5 times in a row, then what? It shouldn't happen. So, and maybe I'll do that later. Maybe I have to do this big validation thing later on where I add those kind of checks. But right now, it doesn't really matter. So, next up, navigation issue, and then volume type, and then music volume, and then after that, fuck, what was I talking about? Oh, a visual for the talking. So you go to your audio settings, and when you're talking, it'll be just like a little voice thingy, and you can update this, and then it'll do that. Maybe an apply button. Like we do it, and if you click the back button, it deletes the changes, but if you do it and you click apply, then it saves them, maybe? Not sure. I kind of like it as is. I don't dislike it. But yeah, okay. Navigation, music volume, visual speaking thing to make sure your mic is good. Okay, all right.